So Eleven and Hop, on the other hand, are going to try to close this gate in this pumpkin patch.
Okay. How do you close a gate?
That's right, Chuck.
Hello there.
Just chuck a
We are 99ers here for episode 15. We're live with the mics and the cameras and the Davids and the Sean-taculars. How goes it, boyos?
It's going.
I'm here.
Sean's here. No mic on, or no visual. Son of a nutmeg.
We're just going in blind.
No visual on Sean, but he is here. I could touch him.
I'm going to touch him.
Sean. David, what's the deal, dude?
Stranger Things is kind of a hot topic in Nerdville.
That's all anybody's talking about.
So I was like, why don't we do a podcast on Stranger Things? And Austin's like, I've never seen it.
I've never seen it because I'm afraid of it.
Yeah, it is a scary show.
I don't like scary. You need to convince me to watch it.
Okay.
Can you do that?
I'll try. I'll see what I can do.
So on a scale of 1 to things that are strange, where does this show lie?
It's probably more than a doctor.
Oh, okay.
That's the only...
But not quite like a surgeon.
Right. I never know how to answer those questions. You hit me with that. On a scale of 1 to thunder, how much love is Thor movie? The show is good.
Okay.
It's very entertaining. It's
Okay.
very cool. It's sci-fi. It's horror.
I won't say that I'm coming into this conversation 100% blind because you and me follow similar Instagram accounts and
Right.
Twitter accounts, and Stranger Things is everywhere. I can't escape it. Whether I know anything about it or not, I've seen enough to have a general idea of kind of what's going on, but I really know nothing about the characters.
It's ubiquitous.
Tis
Strange.
strange. Yeah, I know nothing about the characters or like the overall details.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Rather than me starting and just recapping everything, let me
Yes.
ask you, what is Stranger Things? You could answer that question.
I've heard of the Upside Down, where like it's like a demonic world that people get sent to.
Kinda.
I literally don't know.
That's it? Okay.
And
so,
then Millie Bobby Brown has no hair.
starts off with a group of kids. You got your main characters. You got Lucas. You got Dustin. You got
I'm familiar with Dustin. I've seen a lot of stuff with Dustin.
you got Mike,
Okay.
and you got Will. It's based in the 80s.
Okay.
Historical context. This is happening during the Cold War.
Okay.
So this is in America, but the Cold War is a thing.
They're afraid of Russia.
Yes, Russia is the bad guys.
Okay.
As per usual.
Rocky 4.
Group of kids, right? They're playing D&D. That's how it opens up.
Okay.
D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. They're playing, and this whole show is seen through the scope or the lens of D&D. Like that's how the kids like come to grips with things, or like reason, or have realizations of like they relate it back to D&D.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily D&D is what's happening. That's just how they relate it to. That's the only way they can understand it.
It definitely is interesting because it creates foreshadowing.
Right. Through if you know D&D,
Right.
it can foreshadow things for you.
Sure.
Which is really cool. But it starts off these kids playing D&D. They do this every week, every month type of thing. They all go their separate ways, and Will starts getting chased by something, and he ends up in the woods, and he ends up getting abducted
Shoot.
and by a monster. So
Kids these days.
this is all taking place in Hawkins, Indiana.
Or
in
those days.
In the 80s, okay?
Because it's in the 80s, so it's those days.
Kids used to get kidnapped all the time in the 80s, right?
It's the thing all the kids were doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like skateboarding.
Yeah, they rode their bikes home, and they got kidnapped.
Maybe Will saw something that he shouldn't have.
So anyway, this monster took Will into an alternate dimension.
Okay.
Strange.
So is that the Upside Down?
Yes.
'Kay.
Strange things happening.
Okay.
While they're looking for their buddy who went missing, they come across a girl with a shaved head. And they're like, "You're not Will. Who are you?"
I am a
This is 11.
Okay.
They take her back. They're talking to her. She shows them this tattoo on her wrist. It's 011. That's why they call her 11.
How do they know it's not 110? The other way.
No, it's 011.
Well, if you're looking at it upside down, it'd be 110.
No, you can tell it's not upside, but in the upside down.
She's 110 years old.
No,
Is she 11 years old at the start of that show? Is that the thing?
no, she's not
Dillard
11.
Bobbard Brown.
They're definitely younger.
Okay.
But basically, after talking to this girl and trying to figure out who she is, they discover she has superpowers.
Yo.
She can do things with her mind. But when
Professor
she
X.
does things with her mind, she bleeds from her nose.
Yikes.
So, yeah. They're like, "Yo, why don't you use these superpowers to help us find our friend?" So that's kind of what they do.
Gotcha.
So this kid goes missing. It's a small town, so the town kind of freaks out. There's an investigation. The mom is Joyce. Okay. There's a lot of characters in the show.
I've seen a
lot.
Yeah.
And they use all these characters to tell different parts of the story.
Okay.
Joyce goes to the Detroit. That's not what
She
I'm trying
goes
to say.
to Detroit.
she goes.
Upside down.
She goes to the cops. I don't know why I said Detroit.
Well, you were thinking about cops, so.
Right. She goes to the cops and
where
says,
they
"My
are."
son's gone. Find him." And this is where we meet Hopper. Hopper's one of the best characters.
Hop Daddy. Is that the guy who is Scarlett Johansson's dad?
I was just gonna say, yeah, and Scarlet.
I never saw
Johansson.
that movie.
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
I'm sorry, I never saw Black Widow movie. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
It's yeah.
okay. It's okay I didn't see it. or
Sean, what's the
movie
best
is
part of that
okay?
movie?
My favorite part of that movie is the really poorly done green screen backgrounds, because obviously that stuff was filmed way too late and they had to turn it around real quick.
Marvel
No,
fans be
no.
like,
You know what the best part of that movie is? The best part of that movie is actually like that cool Nirvana cover they do. That's like the opening sequence.
I don't even remember.
Okay.
It was forgettable.
Not to me. Okay. Well, anyway.
So Hopper is investigating, but the town doesn't really take it serious because they're kind of like, he's gonna show up. Like nothing happens to this town.
Sure.
99 out of 100 kids are just hiding.
Nerds. Oh.
Will's got a brother, Jonathan.
Okay.
All right. Jonathan is a weirdo.
Yikes.
Jonathan looks like the turtle from Kung Fu Panda.
What are some reasons he looks like Master Oogway to you?
It's his eyes. He looks like a turtle. And then in like season 4, when they're all older, he looks like a stoned out turtle.
This is mean, but I'm going to say it. If you were to shave Valkyrie from Thor, she would look like a turtle. It's just how I feel. Anyway. Will's in the Upside Down. His brother is a turtle stonehead.
Yeah. There's Nancy. This is Mike's sister. I hate her face.
Who's Mike?
Mike is one of the 4 original kids.
What does he look like? Does he have the super long hair?
Yeah, he has the black hair, yeah.
Okay. Like super black hair.
Yeah,
Will has the bowl cut. Mike has the long black
And
hair.
Mike's got like the bigger nose.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Dustin. Is,
I know who
Dustin's
Dustin is, yeah.
distinguishable. And then there's Lucas.
Oh, Lucas is also not distinguishable?
So I don't know how to go wrong with this. Lucas is African American.
I know who
I didn't
Lucas
want to
is.
say. I didn't want it to come off the wrong way.
That's right.
Well, now you made it awkward.
I took care of that.
Thanks, Sean.
Lucas is the best. No, like actually.
Okay.
Lucas is the man. So anyway, 11 has these powers. She sees a picture of Will and she's like, "Oh, my powers! I can totally reach out and see if he's somewhere."
Okay.
So she senses that he is in the Upside Down.
And she knows what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's terrified of it. She's terrified of the monster. She's terrified of the Upside Down. So throughout the season, she's actually guiding them the wrong way because she doesn't want to deal with it. She's
Gotcha.
terrified of it. So then that causes a big thing. But anyway,
Shoot, who dies?
I'm getting there. So Nancy,
Yeah.
I hate her face.
Is it Nancy Wheeler?
Yeah, Nancy
Okay.
Wheeler.
Is she the one with like the chiseled jawline?
Yes. Yeah, she has a very small face.
Have you ever seen the Jawser size? It's literally like a rubber ball that you
Yeah, yeah,
chew
yeah.
to like strengthen your
Yeah.
jawline.
I think that's actually not safe to do because it could like mess up your jaw.
I think she patented that.
Yeah, I hate her face. It's like pick an age. You're either 12 or you're either 70. There is no in between. I'm telling you, she either looks like she's 12 or 70 in every scene.
Man, that camera wants your hand in focus so bad. Now we're good.
Yeah, it does that to mine too because I talk with my hands a lot.
I won't talk.
I
with
do
my hands.
this a lot.
We've sealed off this area.
This is where it came from?
Yes.
And the girl?
She can't have gone far.
Find her.
Anyway, Nancy Wheeler, Mike's sister. She goes to a party. She's like, "Yo, Barb, we're going to this party." Barb's like, "I don't really know." And she's like, "No, come on, let's go." So she convinces her friend to go. And Nancy hooks up with Stevie Boy at this party.
Who's Steve?
Steve is the ladies' man.
Is he
He's
the
got
chotch?
slicked-
Yeah.
But he's actually not a chotch later on. He's
He
actually
looks
a
like a
boss.
chotch.
He does.
He has a face I'd like to punch.
I agree. I agree. He grows on you though. He's
Okay.
He's a good character. So yeah, she hooks up with him and she leaves Barb. She just like ditches her.
Okay.
So while Nancy's hooking up with Steve, creepy turtle man Jonathan
Yeah.
is taking pictures through the window and creeping on him.
Yikes.
Yeah, he's a creep. He's weird.
Does Jonathan die?
No.
Dang.
That's my next part. Barb is sitting outside, ditched from Nancy, sitting by the pool, when all of a sudden a monster abducts her. So all while Barb goes missing, Nancy and Steve confront Jonathan. Jonathan's got these pictures of them, and they're like, "Yo, that's not cool." Steve and Jonathan get into a fist fight. While this is happening, Nancy sees the pictures that he took on the ground, and she's looking at them, and she sees in the corner of the picture the monster that took Barb.
Now let me ask: is it the flower face monster?
It's called the
Okay.
Demogorgon.
Okay. I've seen that.
So
Before.
while this is happening, Will's body is discovered
Oh god.
in a lake.
Oh god.
All right. 11 tells the boys Will is still alive in the Upside Down. While this is all happening, Joyce, his mom, is freaking out. Her son's gone. And the lights in her house start flickering like crazy. And she's getting random phone calls. And she's like, "This is my son trying to contact me." So she goes into her own spiral of whatever. She buys some Christmas lights because she notices the lights.
I thought you were gonna say crystal meth.
No, I'm getting there though. That's in season 4. And it's not her that buys it, and it's not Crystal.
Nice.
But no. So Hopper's investigating. There's a lady that claims there's the scientist from Hawkins that stole her kid and are doing experiments on her. And so Hop investigates this scientist. And while this is all happening, basically you realize the CIA has a lab underneath Hawkins.
Okay.
And the CIA wants 11. 11 is found. Someone calls social services for her right in the beginning. And this lady shows up for her and kills the guy who called social services. So there's like bad people looking for her.
Gotcha.
You find out it's the CIA and she is their experiment. So they want her back because she's out and about.
Gotcha.
We learn that 11's superpowers are heightened when she's in float therapy. When she's in like a giant tub.
Deprivation tank.
Exactly. Sensory deprivation tank.
Gotcha.
Anyway, back to Will's body. They find Will's body. Hopper investigates the body and actually cuts open his stomach, and there's stuffing in it, not organs. So it's a fake body. The CIA is trying to cover it up.
Oh.
CIA is trying to cover up all this supernatural stuff.
Gotcha.
We learn that 11, we see flashbacks of her being experimented on. She is the one who accidentally opened up a gate to the other dimension.
Okay.
So Hopper breaks into this lab. The scientists take him captive. And basically they just want 11, so they offer him to let him go if he tells them where 11 is. And he says, I'll let you know where 11 is if you let me go through that gate. Because he knows at this point Will's
Will's
there.
in there, sure.
So him and Joyce go through the gate. 11 tells them where he's at. And basically while she's in this deprivation tank, the CIA is coming to take them, to get them. And while that's happening, the Demogorgon comes through the gate and starts attacking them. And they're all in their in their middle school at this point. And CIA's point the gun at 11, and then 11 gets a little nosebleed, and then all of a sudden all these people get a little eye bleeds, and all the CIA agents just drop dead. And 11's just dripping blood from her nose.
She murked him.
She murked him.
She turked him.
So they run away. The Demogorgon comes. They're in a classroom. She is protecting her friends, and she just yoinks the Demogorgon against the wall. She looks behind at her friends and says, goodbye. And then she does this ultra scream, powerful yoink, and the Demogorgon and her disintegrate into the air.
Dang.
And that's how it ends. And you're like,
So wait, Hopper got Will out?
Hopper got Will out with Joyce.
Gotcha.
End credit, or at the very end of the show, fast forwards a month, and Will is at the dinner table, and he's like, oh, I'll be right back. And he goes into the bathroom, and he coughs into the sink, and this black sludge comes out, and it like wiggles down the drain. It's from the Upside Down. And then he has visions of the Upside Down, or his bathroom turns into the Upside Down, and then back to his bathroom, and then he just goes on his way and doesn't tell anybody, doesn't say anything. 11 disappears after defeating the monster. And yeah, that's season 1.
Okay.
What if this whole time I've been looking for Will? I've been chasing after something else.
Also Barb's dead.
I was just gonna say,
They find her body. She
they
didn't make it.
go, is Barb there? Because Barb's gone. And 11 sees her and she's dead. Like dead. So Barb's gone. And that is important going into season 2 and season 3.
Is there any explanation as to why Barb was killed, but Will survived?
Will ran away in the Upside Down.
Oh, okay.
And he took fortress in his fort at home.
Gotcha.
So the Upside Down is real life.
Is real life.
But it's a different dimension.
I gotcha.
So he's in his like fort, like hiding.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that plays into theories too later on. Once you find out what happens at the end of season 4, you might be like, maybe that's why Will survived. Whatever. You'll see. So that's season 1. Barb's super dead. Season 2 starts. The boys got a new girl in class. Her name is Max. She's a redhead.
Nice.
And she is good at video games.
I didn't know where that was going.
Joyce starts dating Samwise Gamgee, so that's cool.
Samwise.
His name's Bob. And yeah.
We'll get back to that later.
Yeah, we will.
Later, we'll get back to that.
Because he dies.
That's not what I meant, but okay, go ahead.
Super dead. So, there is a mystery going on in Hawkins. A pumpkin patch is randomly rotting when it shouldn't be. There's like a weird something going on. Hopper is checking this out. And then we see that 11 is alive and well.
Okay.
Living with Hop. We get flashbacks. She went into the Upside Down and then just came out a different gate. But Hop took her and kept her, well, he found her in the woods, but he is in like a super secret cabin in the woods so that the CIA doesn't know she's alive.
Sure.
So he's like protecting her, and he goes super dad mode. He becomes like the dad daughter, like Kenobi, Leia, Mando, Grogu type of.
If you can ever go dad mode, I would highly recommend it.
Barb's parents are still wondering where Barb is.
Nobody told him?
No.
Yikes.
Nancy knows though. So this is a conflict that starts in Nancy's head. Is I brought Barb to that party and she died.
Right.
And her parents are still looking for her, and I know the truth what happened, but I don't want to tell them. She's like, I think I'm going to tell him. Steve's like, no. They get into a fight. Nancy gets super drunk, says some things about Steve that he don't like. He leaves the scene. Creepy boy Jonathan walks up and swoops on, and he takes Nancy.
Turtle man.
Yeah. So then this Nancy Jonathan love thing starts up. And it gets weird. Basically, Jonathan's helping her with the Barb stuff. Like, yeah, maybe we should go talk to her parents, and so he's there for her. Gotta watch those turtle mans. So all the while, Will is still having visions of the Upside Down randomly. So he brings us up to Mike, and they try to get him help. He gets seen by a doctor. The doctor's like, it's just PTSD from what he's been through. He's fine. So he's struggling with this. He has like a couple visions that really mess him up, and he's really scared. And
Anything in particular? Do you see them?
so yeah, it's a new monster. It's not a Demogorgon. It looks like a spider, but it's like a shadow. It's like a giant shadow spider. And we come to find out it's called the Mind Flayer. That's what they call it. It's a D&D reference again.
Okay.
And basically the Mind Flayer is trying to get to Will. And Will talks to Bob about it. You know, Bob just trying to be a good dude, Samwise. Like, he was there for Frodo, he was trying to be there for Will. And he's like, you know, you just need to conquer your fears, Will. You just need to stand up to it. So he totally steers him into a whole lot of danger. Will's like, you know what? Yeah, next vision, I'm gonna stand up to my fear. So in this vision, Will's like, I don't know what he says. I'm not scared.
You're not real.
Right.
Something
You're
like
not
that.
real. Something like that. And the Mind Flayer is like, oh yeah, and he possesses him the rest of the season.
Easy peasy, right?
Easy peasy.
Just like that.
So Will gets super weird, and he gets home and he's like, our house needs to be colder. And he needs the cold, and he starts drawing a lot of drawings, and he's possessed by the Mind Flayer.
What is it they say in Arrested Development? I've made a terrible decision.
Made a huge mistake.
A huge mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
So Dustin finds something in his trash, and it's like this little slimy slime. And he's like, what the heck is that? So Dustin starts raising this thing as like a pet, and he calls it Dart. And this thing ends up getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it ends up eating his cat.
Yikes.
So that happens.
I forget who's Dustin. Oh, yeah, Dustin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Max starts having this like love thing with Lucas. Like they're starting to fall for each other type of thing. Lucas is trying to get with her. Max has a very wild, probably the worst character in the whole show, brother named Billy. He's a total douche.
I don't know what that is.
He's a total DB, and and he like tries to hit kids with his car.
What?
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff.
This is taking quite the turn.
So they end up taking Will to the lab,
Okay.
where the good CIA people are.
Who takes him there?
Joyce and Hopper.
Okay.
And they're like they're analyzing him and stuff, and
Yeah.
basically he is connected to the Mind Flayer, where he can like sense things about the Mind Flayer, but the Mind Flayer can do the same thing to him, and
Okay.
like they're like connected.
Like Rey and Kylo.
Yeah. Oh my god.
They're a dyad in the Force. Maybe.
I have something to say.
So
Tell me.
he's getting analyzed, whatever. In the beginning, Hop finds a gate in the pumpkin patch to the Upside Down. He
that's
actually
why it was
falls
dying.
in, and he gets stuck there. And Mike, Bob, and Joyce end up saving him because Will is connected and could sense Hop's in danger in the Upside Down.
Gotcha.
So while Will is in the lab being analyzed, he's telling them there is this part I can't see in the Upside Down. I don't know why the Mind Flayer's like hiding it from me. So the scientists in the lab go there to investigate. They think that's where the Mind Flayer is, and they all get yoinked. And they all die. And while this is all happening, Demogorgons come. And like, actually, it's not Demogorgons, it's Demodogs. So it's a different monster now, I guess you could say.
Like the hounds from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Which brings me to my next Lord of the Rings part. The breaker breaks. What am I trying to say?
The power goes out.
Power goes out. And Bob, who knows everything about everything, is like, wait, I can fix that. So while he's fixing that, he gets Hop, Joyce, and Will out. But he sacrifices himself to save them. And it is the most brutal death in the show, where all these hounds just eat him while he's just like,
Yikes.
Mr. Frodo.
Like when he's sinking in the river and Frodo saves him, but nobody saves him this time.
Right.
I'm glad we're making all these Lord of the Rings references.
Yeah. So anyway, they're trying to figure out, how do we beat the Mind Flayer? How do we stop this? And there is a scene where they shoot fire into the walls of the Upside Down, and Will, back in the real world, he's getting hurt because it's fire in the Upside Down. And yeah. Does any of this make sense?
Keep going.
So they realize Will is getting hurt when they're trying to hurt the Mind Flayer.
Okay.
So like, how do we beat him?
Right,
we can't, because we're going to hurt Will. We're going to kill Will if we kill the Mind Slayer.
Because they're connected.
Mind Flayer. So they can't kill him because they're connected. They free Will from this virus. Okay.
How? By banging on gongs?
I think they use like heat and stuff to draw it out because of the fire. So they get this virus out.
Heat is its weakness, unlike loud noises, which was Venom in Spider-Man.
Right.
Go.
So Eleven and Hop, on the other hand, are going to try to close this gate in this pumpkin patch.
Okay. How do you close a gate?
L11.
She's called L now?
I call her L. That's what they call her too.
Okay.
It's 11L.
Sure.
She has superpowers, so she's the one who can do it.
Okay.
So they're successful. They close the gate. Will is freed from the virus.
Has Dustin mentioned anything about the cat-eating thing in his house?
So that turned into a dog. Into a demo dog or whatever.
So is that what came out of Will at the end of season 1?
I don't remember. Do you remember that, Sean?
Yes, it's specifically that one is becomes his pet.
Gotcha.
Cool.
But it's a good one.
Is it?
Yeah. Right?
I don't remember.
It's like, yeah, well, like Dart, the one he raises is kind of like a good one, and it like protects them and stuff.
Oh. Because he raised it.
Yeah.
So they just closed the gate. They couldn't beat the Mind Flayer. They just closed the gate.
Okay.
Mind Flayer is still out and about.
Right.
It ends with them doing a snow coming dance, and Max and Lucas have a kiss. 11 and Mike have a kiss.
Whoa.
And that just gets things going for season 3.
It is important to me that you feel safe.
Because everyone starts dating in season 3. You got Mike and Elle, Lucas and Max, Jonathan and Nancy, Dustin and a girl he met at science camp.
Nice, Dusty.
Billy and Nancy's mom.
Wait, who's Billy?
Billy is Max's brother, the DB. He's in high school,
Okay.
and he tries to get with Nancy's mom,
Yikes.
who is not in high school.
Big DB.
Joyce and Hopper, because Bob is super dead at this point.
Yeah, that's what you said.
So Hopper asks her out on a date, and she's like, let's do it. And then there's Will. And Will just has a problem with all of this. And he's like, I just want to play D&D, and you guys just want to talk to girls.
I mean, what did you think? We're just gonna sit in my basement all day? Play games for the rest of our lives?
And he's always grossed out by it and always sick of it. And So then we find out there's a new mall in Hawkins that just went up, and Steve starts to work there. Steve meets a girl named Robin, and they're co-workers. Steve starts
At the ice cream place?
Yes.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah. So Steve starts to fall for Robin as Nancy has been taken by Jonathan. And Steve has a moment where he just tells her his feelings, and she's like, I like girls. And he's like, all right, I guess we'll be best friends then. So they become best friends.
Happens to the best of us.
Right. So Hop, full dad mode, threatening Mike, like, if you do anything to 11, I'll kill you. He's this very protective, adoptive dad.
Yeah.
But anyway, Billy is supposed to meet up with Nancy's mom. Mm-hmm. And on his way, he gets taken by a monster.
Okay.
Billy gets, like, possessed, infected by this monster, and he becomes, like, the monster's host. Basically, the Upside Down's gate was closed, but the Mind Flayer is still in the world.
Right.
So he is locked away in this mill, and he is taking Billy as his host. So Billy is going around taking people to join the collective Mind Flayer body mind.
So they're all connected.
Yeah, so people just start disappearing, and it's Billy going around taking them.
Gotcha.
So he starts taking people for the monster. There's these rabid rats in Hawkins that Jonathan and Nancy explore the whole season. And then there's breakups. Max and Lucas break up.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding, kinda. 11 and Mike break up.
Big yikes.
Hop and Joyce don't end up going on a date because Joyce is like, why are all my magnets on the ground? There's some weird electromagnetic field going on.
Oh, yeah, okay. For a second, I had no idea what you're talking about.
All right. I'm trying to make this really quick.
I can't date you. My magnets are on the ground.
Yeah, so she misses the date because she's like, wait, what's happening?
Okay. I thought Hopper was responsible for throwing her magnets on the floor.
So then there's
How many
Dustin.
magnets does she have?
Dustin is trying to talk to his girl from science camp. She lives in a different state.
The classic, I met a girl at science camp, but she lives in a different state.
She goes to a different school.
Nice, Dusty.
So he's trying to talk to her through a radio.
Okay.
Dustin intercepts a Russian message.
Oh.
He takes
As one
it,
does.
Yeah, he takes it to Steve to talk about it, and Robin's like, I could help you solve Russian. So they figure it out, and the message is basically something about there's a delivery at the mall. Like, that's what the message is. So they're like, shoot, the Russians are coming to the mall that so happenly to just be created this season.
Because it's during the
great-
Cold War,
right.
right? So they're like terrified of the Russians.
Right.
Gotcha.
So it's like super convenient that there's this new setting in Hawkins where there's a story to tell. It turns out to be a front for the Russians. The mayor is in on it. He let the Russians start this mall, and this is where the Russians, they find out, are below the mall where the gate is to the Upside Down, but it's shut. But the Russians are trying to open it with their own machines. So that's what the electromagnetic field was. Russians trying to open to another dimension.
Okay.
11 traps Billy at some point in the season, and they're trying to like go into his mind and figure out what's going on because 11 can go into people's minds. She has like mind controls type stuff. And 11 ends up fighting the Mind Flayer, which looks like Venom, symbiote.
Nice.
In the real world, she fights him, and it actually messes her up. It messes her leg up, and the OP superhero in the group is weakened, so she can't do much. So it's like great storytelling now that they don't have an OP character to just save the day any second she can.
Right.
But she goes into Billy's mind and finds out that the Mind Flayer just wants to kill 11 because she closed the gate last season. And you see all the possessed people that the Mind Flayer has, they all become like a collective body, and a giant Mind Flayer comes up and basically, you've got the kids dealing with this Mind Flayer, and you've got Hopper and Joyce and the adults dealing with the Russians. That's kind of the gist of it. So long story short, all the villains and heroes come to a intersection at the mall where they all fighting.
Similar to Avengers, where they fight at the airport.
Yeah, kind of. So the Russians, 11 stops, throws a car at them, whatever. They're trying to shoot the kids, whatever.
As
They got
Russians
AKs.
do, am I right?
Right. 11 is very weak, though, because she was hurt.
Okay.
So then 11 looks down at her leg, and she's like, I can't take this anymore. So she uses her powers to pull a piece of the Mind Flayer out of her leg. And when she does this, it renders her powerless. Like, it took everything out of her to get the Mind Flayer out of her. So now she has no powers. Oof. So we go downstairs where Hop and Joyce found their way to the machine that's trying to open the gate. And Hopper gets into it with a Russian guy, and Joyce is like, I have to blow it up now. And he's like, do it. So she blows it up, and it's this really sad send-off of Hopper. The machine blew up, but Hopper was there. He couldn't get out.
Yikes.
Like Charlie in Lost.
Oh my God.
Not Penny's boat.
Season 3 finale shook my world when I was in 8th grade. I'll never forget.
Right. So we get an after credit scene. The Mind Flayer is blown up. Sorry, Mind Flayer is defeated by fireworks. All the kids throw fire at it and do everything.
Put it in reverse, Terry! Put it in reverse! Oh, Lord! Please!
And Billy, who the virus leaves, actually sacrifices himself to save his sister, and he dies this really gruesome death right in front of Maxine.
His sister is Maxine?
Max, yeah. The video game girl who's dating Lucas, redhead.
Okay.
Remember that. That's important.
I'm tracking with you. Yep.
So Billy sacrifices himself. He has one last redemption arc, and he dies. So Mind Flayer is dead. The mall is completely destroyed. The CIA cover up everything, so nobody wonders what happens in Hawkins. Then we get an after credit scene. It's a prison in Russia. It's guards. Yes, it's guards walking, and they tell him to grab the inmate or whatever, and they go to grab one, and the guy says, no, not the American. And then they grab a different guy, and then they feed him to a Demogorgon in their basement. So this is setting up season 4.
Who's the American?
Exactly. That's the. So then
Is it Hopper?
Season 4 trailer comes out. Hopper's alive. Before the machine blew up, he ran to the gate, jumped into the Upside Down, and woke up in a different gate in Russia.
Big yikes.
And they took him captive. So he's in a Russian prison.
Shoot.
Yeah.
That's the last place you want to be. Trust me.
So, does season 3 make sense?
6 out of 10. It makes sense. We're going to pause there. That was David's rundown of seasons 1 through 3 of Stranger Things. We're going to pick this back up next episode with him giving us the full rundown of season 4, which is what is new, hot off the press on Netflix right now. Everybody's talking about it. This is the season that I probably know the most about just because it's all over Instagram, but I really still don't know anything. So David's going to give us the rundown on the next episode. But this was seasons 1 through 3. Let us know what you thought. Let us know if David did a good job. Was there anything he missed that you thought is worth pointing out to someone like me who has never seen it? You can comment that. Thanks for listening, guys. This is 99 Nerds. Peace.